It's recorded.
Alright, well, good afternoon, our
This is
lovely conspiracy theorists.
Yep. This is my first time I'm gonna be doing this on my channel, but this is probably gonna go on Spotify as well.
This is some things we've been wanting to talk about lately.
Yeah.
First, we're going to start with.
Hold up, before anything, we're just saying this is what we think. Do not take this out of any context. Don't call us anything. This is what we think.
This is our own opinion, and we have our First Amendment right to free speech and talk about whatever we want.
Now, with that, we will get to the things we've been thinking about.
Alright, so we're going to start with about around World War I.
Yep.
Right? Would you like to start us off?
There's many things wrong with World War I and that, but the Allies mainly covered up a lot of it and that. The first thing being that they covered up the fact Canada both created the Geneva Convention and did the worst things ever. The Germans, yes, gassed people and others things, but Canada, there was an instance where they let in Germans with food and then shot them on sight and then started doing other things which created the Geneva Convention.
There was also parts where they would put them in like an arena, my bad, and there would be a giant moose in there, and they'd literally have the moose kill that person. The moose would usually be coked up on steroids and whatnot.
The Allies painted themselves as the victors and the good guys, so they covered this all up and made sure that they wouldn't discover it. But after you dig through both Canadian and German history, you can actually see that they did this. So yeah, it was a very bad time. We'll probably come back to this during something we're going to talk about during World War II. But for now, that'll be the thing. Next thing we're going to be talking about is
9/11.
9/11. Now,
here's my thought on it.
Now, we both think this, but the main thing everyone should know, again, this is our opinion. You can think what you want, whatever. But we both think it was an inside job. Me and him did the research, and there's feasible no way jet fuel could burn concrete or that steel.
Alright, I'm gonna lead off on this because I know more about it. Alright, let's talk about Building 7. Building 7, that building fell due to nothing. Nothing touched it, nothing hit it. And yes, I know there's gonna be people in here saying, oh, this, that. I don't care. I'm talking about how it fell out of nowhere. And the fact is, Building 1 and 2, those two fell from, a plane hit it. A plane did not hit it. Like how with the Pentagon, a plane missed it completely, but there was still an explosion.
It didn't miss it. The passenger side of the plane revolted against the hijackers and caused the crash very close but far from the Pentagon. Make sure there's nothing that could even hit it. But suddenly there was an explosion in the Pentagon which caused multiple documents and all this
of dollars
just to disappear. All that just disappeared. Many people just believe it was burned in the fire. But again, how did the explosion occur? What I'm thinking, he probably thinking, is that the inside man thought the plane hit it already and hit the detonator, and it was too early, and it was already too late. And due to that, it caused the government had to cover it up, saying all this shit like, like a fire or some shit happened and that it caused an explosion. There was propane in there, but there wasn't. It was an inside job, and the man fucked up, so they had to cover it up. And the reason why you may think, why would they do this? They wanted to go to war with Iran and Iraq due to this reason.
They wanted to destabilize it. That's why
and kill Osama bin Laden, what they said caused the issues.
I don't think they can hear your air quotes. You're gonna have to literally say quote quote.
Quote unquote. He did it all. He caused all these plans to do this. But in reality, there's no feasible way. Let's put it in this perspective. Even if it was an inside job, Osama bin Laden feasibly could not control all these hijackings at one time. It's hard, even at that time, if there's rarely any security, it was way too hard to really operate this. even if they somehow did, it was not gonna work out. It was going to fuck up either way. Like there was one instance where a plane did get hijacked and literally missed their target by almost 30 miles. Not 30 miles, like 30,000 miles. They literally went past the 30,000 miles. There was nothing they could do to stop that. That was the issue, which causes the thing to believe that was an inside job. And because Osama bin Laden, also at the time, I guess he did bad things. I don't recall remembering anything.
I'm not gonna follow up on that, but I'm going back to building 1 and 2. They fell floor by floor by floor.
In the
It
real,
went
in the
douche,
real,
douche, douche.
in a real fire-size explosion, that feasibly wouldn't happen. It would all come down like in a weird angle.
And the thing about concrete and industrial steel, they both were industrial steel and industrial concrete. Industrial concrete burns at like what, 1,200
Yeah.
degrees,
Well,
and industrial steel that melts at about 1,750, and only
jet
what's
fuel
it called?
burns like
Jet fuel.
300.
No, it burns at 1,000 and around 30 degrees,
Mm-hmm.
and it wouldn't have melted it. It would have lost stability, yeah, but it wouldn't have melted it. It wouldn't have caused anything like that.
Glass, yes, the glass would have melted instantly. There's even if the crashed and hit the freaking glass, it would have melted just due to the sheer heat. And also, there was the fact that going off of this, the fact that the plane exploded also causes issues because
jet fuel really doesn't explode.
It doesn't explode. It was in a container, and the heat around that couldn't really burn through the steel to blow it up. And even if it's some people might say, oh, due to the heat, it went inside the container and blew it up. Even so, that would cause another issue. They put these things in very thick containers to make sure that wouldn't happen.
And there's also things known about, like, one, there would be plane debris, and there was none, but there was rocket debris, which was kind of interesting to me. Instead of plane debris, there was rocket debris, and the fact is, that tells you it's an inside job. Our government sent a guided missile to both buildings, blew them up, and said it was Osama bin Laden.
So they could go in, destabilize, and then go out. Not trying to get political here, but the reason why we even left was due to Donald Trump saying this is enough, we've done our job, let's get the fuck out of here, there's no point in staying here. I think it happened like 2019, 2020, we pulled out of Iraq permanently.
Correct. And the crazy thing is, I find it a little stupid on why we would do that.
The fact is, the even stupider thing, sorry for interrupting you, my kind friend, is we killed Osama bin Laden like not even a year into this whole war. And yes, we're going to destabilize it. But why did we stay so long? There was no weapons of destruction, which they also claimed there was weapons of mass destruction.
And they didn't find none.
Quote unquote weapons of mass destruction. And we didn't hear any news about it. They didn't find any. So we went into this region, killed some person, saying, oh, they did all this, they coordinated all this. But this guy, many people don't believe this. He was pretty fucking old. Even it's not like a grandpa could fucking correlate this. Could not even do this. Yes, he's shown himself to be a terrorist, but not in America, but in his own country.
Dude, he was probably like 60 years old.
Yeah, he was a terrorist in his own country. He didn't leave his country because he was on high surveillance by the Iraqi police. He didn't move a muscle. He stayed in his house, done house arrest the whole time. And then all of a sudden, American comes in and just kills him.
In front of his kid, too.
Yes,
and
which causes a lot of issues.
Guess what they did to the kid? They killed the kid, too.
Yeah.
So, no witnesses, I guess. And I'm going to change subjects here. Did you hear about the nuke that went missing when Obama was president?
No, I did not.
Well, one of our nukes went completely missing with the launch key and everything else. Crazy thing was, it disappeared out of nowhere, thin air. It was gone. That was about $2 billion worth of explosive devices in that.
Also, fun fact, just brought this in, there's over maybe 4,000 missing nukes in the world. They're just gone. There's no point. They don't know where they went. The governments ahead, all of them did not know where most of them went.
Even though they obviously probably knew, but didn't tell their citizens. But on this,
Also, we named
believe,
this the history because we're gonna be going through World War One to 9/11 to World War Two. Even though 9/11 came after both of those, I think.
yeah, we're going out of order, but we're
I
going
think we
in.
may move into then maybe the Cold War a little bit with the Korean War, Vietnamese War, all that, and then a little bit to modern times and that. But that's probably gonna be it. So that's all. Now we'll continue on the subject of what was happening with these nukes. Nothing happened. They just suddenly vanished. I'll let my friend talk here about what happened.
It completely vanished, and we had no idea where it went. They told the citizens it disappeared and fell in the ocean. Us conspiracy theorists, no, it didn't. We know that because obviously our government is not ballsy enough and not idiotic enough to lose a what 3 million megaton nuke.
Yeah, there's no feasible way, and there's also the fact that many people don't know is in water you keep your velocity. Yeah, you're slowed down, but you keep that velocity. If it did fall off, there was going to be a nuclear explosion. There's no stopping
It
it.
was probably deactivated, so it wasn't going to explode. But the thing is, we obviously either gave it to China, Russia, or Ukraine. Well, no,
not Ukraine, because Ukraine, fun fact,
I had a
can use
brain fart
nukes.
there.
Yeah, Ukraine cannot use nukes at all because, if you don't know, Ukraine did have, I think, around 100 nukes after the Soviet Union collapsed, but they gave them back because they physically don't have the they don't have the technology nor the resources to even launch them. There's no point.
They don't have the technological resources for that.
Yeah, they don't have the stations to launch them. There's no point to keeping them.
So mainly it was either to China, Russia, or Korea. But
North
my
Korea,
guess,
to be more exact.
my guess I would say probably in
Specific. Sorry, I had a brain fart. I said expect.
Yeah, and my guess I would say what was it, China? Yeah, I would say it probably went to China because China has a few extra nukes that they shouldn't have because before it said about
Also,
not half a million.
Off
But
topic, by the way, this is going to go into more modern side, but we have learned that North Korea, recently had tests near their nukes near Japan's waters, which caused a lot of issues with Japan. And also China's most of their nukes are just filled with water, and then Russia, there's no. Many people think that will be destroyed in that by these countries.
Let's save this for the modern time.
Yeah, we'll come back to this, but yeah.
But about that nuke, it disappeared, and we had no idea what happened to it. I do. It probably went to China.
Most likely.
But we're gonna switch subjects to
around World War II times.
Huh?
Not World War II times.
Yeah, around World War II.
Now this is the part we warned you in the beginning. This is where most of our massive opinions come into play.
This is where people are gonna look at us different. But this is our own opinion. We don't follow any of these people, and we don't believe anything good about what they did.
Okay, to begin with, since World War II is mainly due to the Jews, we'll talk about something that many people don't know about, is the Jewish Bible.
I'll start off with this one. With the Jewish Bible, it says that every other religion is inferior to them, aka saying they are over the top, on top, and better than them. And when we went to, what country was it?
Israel and Palestine.
Israel and Palestine, which I do not support either.
We do not give a fuck about that civil war, nor Syria's.
I honestly think we should stop sending money and whatnot. I'm tired of seeing videos with people like, "Oh, free Palestine." Bitch, shut the fuck up. I don't care. And I thumbs down that stuff and whatnot. But the thing is, brain fart completely.
There's no point because there was an incident with Palestine when the Americans went there. They got spat on and called us disgusting Christians. Not
exactly.
Us, but us as in the Americans.
Some American tourists went there and learned that Jews don't like Christians. And the thing about the Jews is, if you've read their Bible, it literally states there should be one world, one government, one world currency, and a one rule to rule them all, like Lord of the Rings. But
Yeah, and also this yeah takes a little modern, but yeah, there was one of the things that did come to pass, one currency, which was the U.S. dollar. But then BRICS came along and said fuck that and made what they did now, made the new coin. I don't remember what it's called. I don't care. But now back to World War II times, talking
yeah,
about this Jewish shit.
well, honestly, my opinion, I don't know if he agrees. I think the Germans shouldn't have been caught. Did it like underground or something, because Hitler was also a Jew, and he even stated,
People mainly there's people saying he's not in this. If you look it up, it says he's not. But he kept that hidden during his fucking rule because he didn't want to be think of as a traitor to both sides. So he kept it secret, say he was pure ethnic German. I think it was his mother who was Jewish, and then his dad was German.
correct. And honestly, since I said I don't think he should have gotten caught, I stand by that due to the fact that he was writing of a type of religion, like how, what was his name, that ruled Russia for a long time?
Joseph Stalin,
No, not Stalin. The,
Putin.
no, the one guy who killed millions of people and wiped out an entire race.
I think it must have been during the Stardom, so one of the kings of the Tsar.
No, it wasn't a king. What was his name?
Vlad the Impaler? I don't remember.
It was some guy. He was strong as hell. He raped millions and millions of women. Took over different places.
That's not Russia. That was Japan. That's Hiroshima. Not Hiroshima. It was the Japanese leader.
General Mao.
It was no. That's China. It was during World War II times. The leader of Japan did that.
Someone we
They
don't
did
know.
the Chinese massacre.
Yeah, but changing back to our original subject.
It was not during World War II, by the way, so it wasn't really changing back. But
Well, yeah, but honestly, I think it's kind of bullcrap. But I still find it funny how Hitler killed himself in a Heidi room.
yeah, and also
And
going
what I
off
was
my
talking
friend
about, it
here.
wasn't during World War II. It was around World War One.
But anyways, during now this going between World War One and World War Two here. This is a popular Hitler propaganda, not quote, saying that World War Two could have been avoided without if World War One, if the Allies weren't so hard. That wasn't propaganda, in my opinion. That's a true fact. If you don't realize, they both fucked the German economy, the military, the Navy, the Air Force, and split the country in half. And left them with a government and just asked for them to fucking pay them back all this money they did not have. It caused a massive issue in Germany. And then there was their internal politics wasn't any better because people think, oh, Hitler had all the support, he was guaranteed to become dictator. Not really. He almost lost to the communists for one reason. If the government did not arrest him, he would have lost and the communists would have taken over. But due to the arrest, Hitler finally became in charge. Now, most people don't think about this, but the fact is, Germany did. If most people just blame it all on Germany, if you don't remember, Austria accepted the Germans' demand just to be annexed. No war, no nothing. They actually agree with Germany.
Would you like to explain what annexed is? I'm sorry for
Annexed
interrupting.
means it's taken over without any issue. They've got lost all the land. The government's complete. It goes back to the Germans. But it was more of a union, really, because they fully agreed with the Germans, what they're doing, what their ideology was, and the Hitler. And now, this was the main thing I'm about to talk about, is what's going to get me the most looked at, is I personally agree with what Hitler mostly did, killing the Jews, because of what they do. It's their religion's trash. Their whole fucking religion shouldn't even exist in the first place. Like, I get it. It's a bad time, Holocaust. I get it. Jews are not all bad in that, but there was many times that the Jews could have saved themselves if they weren't such a dick and money hungry and thinking of the supreme race. It's what if you don't think about if that starts sounding familiar, remember it was one of Hitler's main goals was to that make sure that the German race was number one and the only race in the world. Killing Japanese, Chinese, Americans. They want to make sure the Germans were the only race. So he kind of mixed the two ideologies with the Polish a little bit. But he didn't fully agree with it due to the fact he just didn't like it. Then, bringing it back, there was like, I think that's mostly what we were talking about during World War II, if I remember correctly. I think there's something else. Oh yeah, the modern day a little bit. That Italy's freaking, not Italy's, Mussolini's granddaughter was running for governor not like a while ago, but that's scary a little bit. Yeah, and also this is one of my favorite conspiracy theories is most people forget that Albania was actively revolting against the Italians, which caused them to lose what they lost. The reason why they had the civil war is because he did lost Benito Mussolini lost all his support, but also due to the active Albanian resistance, people keep forgetting that. They yes accepted the demands to be annexed, perfectly fine. But then they started resisting due to what the Italians were doing to the Albanian people. They're taking jobs, SAing people, and
Quote, major quote right there.
I don't remember this. That was a little blur on the side. So they got annoyed by it, and then Zog, who was the king of Albania, who got almost kicked out of his own country by the Italians, had enough and started these rebellions and revolts. During the civil war of Italy, Albania fully declared its independence from it, completely left. Everyone forgets about that because Albania was thinking about this the whole damn time. They were preparing just to get the fuck out. And now that should be the end of the World War II section. We're going to move into the Cold War now, right? Or the modern?
Cold War, then modern. The thing about Cold War is mainly the only
let's
reason
put it this
happened
way.
Was
Even if the Cold War didn't happen, if the Soviet Union was still around today, if we were still fine, the Civil War was going to happen. There was massive unrest in Vietnam from the French getting kicked out. The Korea War, they were already split after World War II. And North Korea had tons of support from China on that. That's pretty much it about that. And then we talk about these things. It's like, and then you have to realize, we were the scariest time during the Cold War because there was a literal thing during the Korean War that, it terrifies me a little bit, is that there was one Marine division against 1 million divisions of, or whatever it was, don't remember the exact number, of Chinese and North Koreans. We held their position the whole time. They only left because the president of the United States told them to leave. We could have stayed there and just won the Korean War with attrition. But we didn't. We said, let's get out of here. There's no point. And I think that's pretty much it. We were talking about North Korean War before this. Yeah, we did this beforehand. We said we should probably do a podcast now.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we were going to talk about in the Cold War that you think of?
The fact that the only reason the Cold War happened was because during that time, our presidents between Russia and America, they kept threatening each other. Oh, we're going to use this nuke. Oh, we're going to use this one. Oh,
also,
we got this. We
off
got
the
that.
topic of anything, if people think there was only one American Civil War, there was almost a second one. I think during World War I or World War II, or during the Cold War, that due to a lot of civil unrest, due to the wars and that it almost caused a civil war, but we were barely able to put it down. Anyways, continue.
Crazy thing about the Cold War was the fact that, well, I would say all the scarce thought of nukes and weapons and all this other heavily destructive stuff going on. But honestly, none of it happened. And
honestly, it's more of a space war than anything. Space race war. Whoever got to space faster won, in which they did. Most people don't know is that even if we didn't win the space race, Soviet Union was uncontrolled, unsupported by its people anymore. Every place that was occupied that was actively revolting, like the whole Comintern Pact was at the point of resisting. Fun fact again about Albania: they were the first ones to leave the Eastern Bloc, whatever it was called during the time. They completely left because they didn't get involved in Czechoslovakia. They completely opted out, but kept communist, which slowly became a monarchy. Again, fun fact: they really loved their monarchs, and I think it's still a monarchy today. I think Zog's granddaughter is now queen.
Now we're gonna change subject real quick. On my opinion, honestly, between Republican and
We do not give a fuck.
democracy, we don't care because
Both sides
one leads toward anarchy, which is Republican, and the other one leads to what?
Isolationism, because we're gonna cut our contacts with Europe permanently after the Ukrainian war's over. You can't tell. Joe Biden's the one that's gonna get us into another civil war, and then there's Donald Trump's, who I know people hate me for this because people have their different opinions. I agree with Donald Trump. We should stop helping Europe. It's getting to the point that we're wasting too many resources on these countries that should be defending themselves. The only reason they even still act is because of us. They're getting. One second. The fact is, they're trying to. The only reason why they're so safe from keeping the arsenal is because they're acting on the fact that America will get involved. I agree with Donald Trump as vice president. We should stop doing that. We should stop helping Europe pull our resources out of Ukraine and end the war by giving Putin what he wants, mostly Ukraine. Now we're going to go back into the Cold War because my podcast here, friend here, wanted to go back into that because we're getting off topic.
Well, yeah, we can't go off topic midway through, but my bad. But the thing about it, the Cold War, is, like I said, it's all fear of different weapons.
It was a communist scare.
Yeah, communist scare, like he said.
There was a Red Scare in the United States, and there was, I think, capitalist scare in freaking Soviet Union. Yeah. It was happening and caused many issues for both sides. But,
it kind of was bullcrap. Because nothing happened. All we did was go to the moon. Honestly, I think.
Also, popular theory is that people think the moon landing was fake, but again, there's been so much goddamn evidence of
actual landings on it, like footprints there.
Yeah, and people think, oh, that's the wrong boot. They wear different boots on the moon because of the low gravity, so they decided to change their boots before they landed forward.
And more people say, oh, how does the flag stay up? Well, one, they put a metal rod inside the flag so it stays up and whatnot. We don't know.
There's also space rocks. There's also, I think, meteorites from the moon we've gotten.
Yeah. And people say, well, there's no wind. Yeah, of course there's no wind. But the thing is, when you're in space, there's no gravity. So whatever movement was there when they placed the flag stays there. Like Newton's law, objects in motion stay in motion unless an opposite force what's it called?
Resists
and interacts with it. In space, Newton's laws don't really work with it because you could literally go out there.
Moon has zero gravity.
Yeah, zero gravity. If you're sitting out there, let's say there's something that's 50 tons sitting right there on the moon.
You could lift it up with a pinky.
You could literally walk over to it, grab it with your hand, pick it up, and lift it over your head like it weighs nothing, because it technically weighs nothing. Any type of space and whatnot, per se, if you were in a completely zero gravity area, it feels.
But then there's the fact that if we go to any other planet, it's different pressures, different gravities. Like if, for instance, we try to do that on like Mars or Neptune.
Jupiter, right there.
Jupiter, if we try to do that now, 50-ton thing will act like 1,000,000 tons. It'll be too hard to lift. You'll instantly break your bones. It's like,
and you wouldn't even be able to stand. Per se, if you were able to stand, then
your organs would literally explode from the pressure. You're not living on there. The only way we're physically able ever to land on Jupiter, and also just, the fucking weather and storms, if you haven't seen. That big red area is one massive storm that's still happening for millions of years now. You think about it, if people don't think about it, it's like, if we somehow do land on Mars, it's going to be the time around like 300,000, like 300 time period year. Because we need to develop the technology to even land on fucking Mars and Venus yet that we're trying to colonize.
They're like, oh, let's put a
Terraform
little car up there and do da 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 this. Like, bro,
we're still
what's
also
your
trying to
car gonna do?
terraform that, which is going to take more time. And there's like a popular theory I've watched a video on that says, oh, the human race is just trying to terraform and colonize whole planets. The issue is with that is, one, if we try to we can terraform all planets perfectly fine with us. The issue is trying
We
to
don't have the resources to get out there.
that,
Because
and we don't have, our human bodies aren't adapted to the other pressures. Like, humans have grown on Earth all this shit. They've been, sorry for taking the term from, history to this, but all this.
this is still technically history.
All this. We have all this stuff in a little bit in the future. And the thing we don't have is evolution. We've grown on Earth our whole existence. If we suddenly moved to Mars or Venus, yes, maybe Mars or Venus could theoretically be fine for us, but Jupiter, Neptune will probably have to have flying cities. Jupiter, I don't physically think we could even colonize Jupiter just due to the sheer pressure. We don't have nearly.
We could colonize Jupiter,
The
but
issue
it'd be
is
almost impossible.
and there's people thinking that we'll eventually get to the point where we can harness the sun for energy. I get that, but you have to realize something. We all as a human race have a certain amount of time left. Because if people don't remember, red star giants exist. Sun has like a 15 billion years left. As soon as that happens, the whole solar system's gonna go kaboom. And if we're not out of the solar system by then, the human race is gonna cease to exist.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
But we're gonna switch off the subject of what's it called, Cold War. We'll go to that on a different podcast. We're gonna move into modern and probably a little bit of future, but we'll move on to that in the next podcast too. And to start off, honestly, I think Joe Biden should not be a president. This is an honest opinion.
We both agree this because for one reason is that
He's like 90 years old, dude.
yeah, he barely could walk on a stage. Like, let's put it this way.
He has fallen upstairs, downstairs. He's fallen from walking, and
Let's say it like this. Joe Biden has pushed his luck already, being president. The only reason why he even has to support people is because with the LGBTQ.
I'm not gonna say I hate LGBTQ, but I support them a little bit. I don't want to be a part of it, but I think the LGBTQ plus part is plus means predators because one, it's just a bunch of adults trying to get kids to think, oh, I'm this gender when you're actually the other gender. Like, I think it's a mental illness.
There is, how we think is that there is guys with tits, not girls with dicks. That's how we think of it.
Exactly. What I think is it's absolutely gross. I don't want to be a part of it.
If you hate that, all well.
I'm not being homophobic because I'm not
Or
afraid of you.
transphobic, that's just how we think it.
Actually, the thing about phobic means fear of. I'm not afraid of transgenders or gay people or anything. I will punch the shit out of you, motherfucker.
My
If you
hands
piss
are ready
me
to
off.
eat forever unless you're under 12.
Nah, my hands are rated literally yes because I will punch whoever fucking pisses
I don't
me off.
punch. My fists are ready to eat forever unless you're 4 or below. Unless you really piss me off.
I mean, I wouldn't punch a 1-year-old. That's kind of fucked up. And I wouldn't punch anything above 10. Let's say that.
You're below.
10. Below, yeah, below. My bad.
You wouldn't punch a 15-year-old being pissed off at you.
Like there was this 13-year-old.
Let's not go into personal issue here. Let's get back to
No,
the
it's not completely personal. He was fucking with me and everything, and I really didn't want to hurt him because I knew he was a good kid. He was messing with me, and I got cornered, so I said whatever. And the only reason I didn't do nothing was because he had another friend there. And hey, can't embarrass your idiotic friend in front of your semi-non-idiotic friend, am I right? They
But
both
anyways,
were very idiotic and they were stupid.
Talking about Joe Biden again. I
Joe
get that.
Biden is like retarded as hell.
We also have to think about this, is that if Joe Biden gets another election, if he gets elected during this time, I don't care what people think. There's probably going to be a civil war from Trump fans, just give supporters and fans just not agreeing with the decision and causing it.
A part about Joe Biden here, he actually ain't even running the White House and whatnot. The White House ain't even located in Washington.
I think he's not running for. I think it's his vice president that's running now. I think Joe Biden dropped down and replaced himself with his vice president last time I checked.
Even though
it was a woman, it's the first woman to try, second woman trying to go for president again. First one being Hillary Clinton against Donald Trump.
And which is pretty crazy.
I think so, at least. I think there may have been others, but I think with the main two parties, that's the second majority. But anyways, as I said, the only physical way that we don't end a civil war, or Biden physically wins the election without civil war, is that during the civil war, Mexico gets involved, but in return, we give them back territory that we took from them during, I think, the Mexican War, or that? Mexican American War, that back in like, not 1812, I think it was like around the 1800s, I think.
We're gonna do many different podcasts like this. They're not fully our opinion and whatnot. We're not ending it right now, but we'll end it in a little bit.
But anyways, as I was saying, if Mexico doesn't get involved, Donald Trump with his supporters will have way more manpower, because Trump already has the support of the army and that crap on the side. He'll easily win, become the president, and just have to repair. Like, even he made statements during his interview that pretty much makes me more supportive of him, is that he's not wrong when he says he made sure we were in good terms with every other major power. We made sure we were good terms, every power. There was no Ukraine war. Every power, including Russia, China, North Korea. There was no Ukraine war. There was no economic crisis. There was no the wall was super secure. All of this shit. But then Joe Biden started on doing that. He refused to go help. He refused to go do all this. And due to Joe Biden being such a weak leader, the Ukraine war happened. And yes, I don't care
what you. On the topic of Joe Biden, I just thought of this. The fact is, we had a wall, right? We had a chain link wall and whatnot.
To keep the Mexicans out. I don't care what people think. Because one reason.
I'm gonna call them illegal aliens because I'm not gonna go by ethnicity.
Because, not being rude, but the reason why we even built the wall was Donald Trump had a good reason. We don't want Mexican criminals in our goddamn country. We really have to deal with our criminals at the time. And we don't need more influx of foreign people, because
foreign and illegal aliens in our country, because
we really have it bad. We have homelessness, jobless stuff. We can't deal with that.
Physically, homeless people are living like kings right now because they get cell phones and everything. And
yeah, I don't remember what Trump all said during his interview, but he was saying all this stuff was really good, which he was not wrong at all when he was president. Only reason why he even got opposed was because there's accusations of shit happening with him and little kids.
Yeah, even though it wasn't real.
The only one we can actually say he's doing weird stuff with little kids, the fact that Joe Biden sniffs kids' hair and shit.
There's also a video on YouTube of Joe Biden saying he likes it when kids touch his legs, especially when they say his legs are hairy. He has kids sit on his lap and whatnot and all that crap. It's completely perverted, gross, and absolutely fucking out of presidential character. He should not be president due to him being a pervert. And honestly, going back to my original subject, I don't think we should have these illegal aliens in our country because of one thing. Once there's enough, there's going to become martial law. And it's going to cause a civil war. The thing about a martial law is it sucks balls. And I'm saying
People
and
don't know what martial law is. It's when the military takes it over and says it's time, we're done with this. They're gonna be constantly regulating what you do, where you go, and you're probably need an ID on you at all times if you're not underage to show you their ID and shit, just so you can get places and that. Even if you're above 21, if you're trying to get alcohol and shit, you probably have to show the ID to both the military person and the alcohol person. If you want a gun, you probably have to go to the fucking military people. Pretty much means that the military fully takes control. They're done with. They're not fucking around anymore. They're taking control.
There's also been a bill that's been trying to get passed but denied every time about getting rid of the Second Amendment, which I do not agree with completely. I think we deserve our Second Amendment right to bear arms. I don't feel like being like Canada, where they can't even have a weapon with a mag.
Because let's put it this way.
There's a thing
The
called
one
mag.
reason why people physically cannot occupy
Before
America
we continue this, there's one thing that pisses the fuck off with me. There's mags and clips. Don't get them fucking confused. A M1 Garand or Garand, I don't care how the fuck you say it.
it's a mag, not a fucking clip.
No.
Only time you can say a
M1
clip is if it's a video game.
No. Not even in a video game. You better fucking call it a mag or a clip. In M1 Garand, that uses a clip. Because it's a metal stamped piece that is fucking holding bullets. And a stripper clip, I said it, clip, takes bullets in a straight up and down line. And what's it called? The fucking Mosin Nagant. That's a clip. But magazines, there's double
Like-
snap
Like
magazines.
M9s and that has mags.
M1 Beretta, the
AK-47.
fucking 1911, the AK-47, the AR-15, and everything else that's fucking semi-automatic, except stuff that takes clips. It pisses me the
Okay,
fuck off.
slowly transitioning back to what I was saying, is the reason why people refuse to try to occupy America is for one simple reason. Because, let's put it this way, if we lose a war, no one will physically try to occupy us due to our Second Amendment. We have the right to bear arms. You try to occupy us, you're gonna have so much unrest with people with guns automatically. Like, I know like 3 people who have like 5 guns already, and it's like, if you try to occupy us, you're guaranteed you're gonna lose tons and tons of equipment and men just trying to fucking.
Honestly, I don't know why they're trying to do martial law, because they're gonna try and go to house and take people's guns. Once you enter that person's house, all you're gonna hear is the sound of a shotgun racking and 3 of your men getting blasted in the chest.
Or if you walk into, say, my house trying to take any of my weapons, either you're gonna get stabbed in the heart by a fucking blunt ass katana that I'm gonna shove really hard at your ass, or a fucking knife into the throat. Yes, I have many weapons in my house just in case. I don't trust people. I don't care if I'm in a richer neighborhood or not. I don't trust these people. If someone breaks in my house, they're getting a knife to the throat or the fucking jugular.
Well, yeah. What I would do, how I have my stuff is, one, I have a BB gun, because I don't really have an actual gun right now.
I have a BB gun, by the way. Mine's not gonna be useful in the slightest. His is perfect because
It's meant for small game hunting. If I shoot you just right in the face, you'll be either getting major brain damage or you'll be dead.
even though I don't know karate or any fighting moves, I know many ways to knock someone out with just a few hits to like certain areas, or just one hit. To be honest, there's a few areas in person's body that if you hit it just right, you're knocking them out,
There's a
paralyzing
specific
them, or making them
Taekwondo
go
move.
me.
There's a few specific Taekwondo moves that you can use on a person, and it goes where you take your elbow, hit them straight in their solar plex, and the solar plex is the bone directly in the middle of your chest. You hit that there, it causes extreme pain and it shoots through their entire body, disabling them for a few seconds. Then you kick this inside thigh of their leg hard enough to where it immobilizes their fucking thigh and they can't move. Then you take a fucking palm. You take your knuckles and only go down halfway. and you take your palm and slam it into their chest as hard as possible, and that will either cause fucking muscle spasms or it could cause your heart to explode. And if that doesn't do them in, you can do the same move with your palm, hit them across the chin, forcing it up, and it will break their neck completely, and they'll be dead on sight.
There's a popular theory that you could just, if people just get punched in the balls, guys just fall. There's people out there that specifically monks. If you have seen the monks training, you would understand those people literally feel no pain.
They literally have balls of steel.
Literally, if you watch one monk train or try to hit them in the balls, it's like you're putting a feather up to a fucking. It's like you're trying to stand against the gravity of Jupiter. You're punching and there's not. You're trying to get up. There's no point. It's like if you punch that, you're not getting hurt, but he's not either. Because they're all training in the beginning, like half of their training, they're getting kicked in the balls 24/7. Their balls is getting constantly hit.
It's enough to where it won't break them, but it's enough to be painful. But
and if they ever get down to their knees, they fail or slash get punished even worse, which is harder kicks. And I've seen it happen. It's bad.
Can I get a cookie?
There's no point on you doing that, man.
Yeah, you're right. Whatever.
You can get one after. But anyways, sorry about that. He was asking for a Twinkie. But anyways.
Hey, I need my sugar.
Anywho, as we were saying, there is another. I've seen an anime person try to do this. It's hard to even accomplish. Is to get a knife shoe and kick someone. Yes, it's useful, but there's no physical way you can get that to work without hurting yourself. Like, the most popular thing if I could do would get blade shoes, and if someone tries to grab me, I'll just kick them right in the fucking leg with it out, and it'll kill them, or
you
just...
You can't buy foot shoes. Shoes with knives or whatever the fuck. That shit's illegal as hell where we live, and in general, it's illegal in almost all 50 states.
Unless you're in Japan. Japan allows it for some damn reason.
But the thing about knife shoes, I've seen people try and create them. It's almost impossible because you got to figure out a way, one, to deploy it, and two, how to use it without hurting yourself. Because if it does disconnect from the railing it has, it'll shoot into the back of the shoe and cut your foot open like a fucking turkey on Thanksgiving.
But anyways, we got off topic. Is there anything else Sheree talk? Oh wait, that's what something. Many people fail to realize that there was two reasons why Russia even bothered to invade Ukraine. The first one was he can talk about it. I don't remember exactly what he said, but the second reason was the Ukraine was getting super close to joining NATO, and Russia did not want a massive border with NATO. So and even Russia sent the whole thing. Putin went to the president of Ukraine and talking about it, like the CTSGO, aka Russia's faction, was going to help out Ukraine if they needed it. They were going to send supplies, money, all this stuff to protect them if they joined their faction and not NATO.
Did you see the video about those two presidents meeting, grabbing their drinks, looking at each other, looking at them, neither of them taking a sip of it because neither of them trust each other, and they just put them the fuck down.
Yeah, but as I was saying, Russia was trying to do peacefully, trying to stop Ukraine. They never wanted to occupy their brother, pretty much, since if you know, in a way, the country was a brother to it. If you think of countries as humans, they're brothers, pretty much, / siblings.
Allied, technically. But
since they were under the same Soviet rule.
But the thing about that is, also the main reason why those two connected was because Ukraine wanted more land, and NATO, they were slowly advancing into Russian territory. They were inching their way in, and it caused issues that arose.
Also, most people don't know this, but there was an ongoing issue with Kaliningrad. If no one knows what it is, it's like a small piece of land between Poland and Lithuania. Kaliningrad is under the control of Russia, which is an issue because it causes a massive threat to NATO. Because the reason why NATO was doing this all, I think at least, was due to that fact. Because Belarus, NATO supposedly doesn't know, air quotes, is secretly part of CSGO. No one really, everyone keeps forgetting that Belarus may not be exactly in the faction yet, but can join it anytime they want, since they're Russian bitches. Not being rude to Russia or Belarusians, but Belarusians. But anyways, they're gonna join if the war ever broke out, and if that happened, if this was before, by the way, before Finland and Sweden tried to join, they could cut off the Baltics, and then the Baltics would lose because they have to go to the sea, which then Russia would be able to occupy because the Baltic Sea was kind of not being regulated. It was between Denmark, Germany, Poland, and the Baltics, and Norway, but the Norway couldn't help at the time due to that. But this is no longer an issue due to one fact. Don't know what's happening to my friend's phone, but
You keep turning down the volume
sorry.
by touching the headphones.
But anyways, it's no longer an issue due to one fact, and that fact being Sweden joined, making sure the Baltic Sea, the Baltic Sea is no longer under that contingency plan because Sweden has joined, making it so it's more likely to be able to supply freaking the Baltics, keep them in check, keep Russia in check, even if they encircle them. I think Finland's on this, they're very close to joining, so the Baltic Seas no longer have an issue, but that's pretty much what I believed. Not, but anyways,
I realize this is probably going to be about an hour podcast.
Is there anything we should really else talk about? I think, if not, I think we'll probably end it here.
I left on fucking the fact that
Joe Biden.
Yeah, honestly, I think Joe Biden doesn't need to be president. I don't support elder abuse. I don't support it. It's kind of bullshit. And thing is, Biden's president, not his vice president. Fuck his vice president. She also wants to get rid of the Second Amendment and the First Amendment, which is crazy. And
most people don't realize is that America's moving more and more towards a dictatorship than any democracy. People think.
And the thing about Biden is he's basically pulling almost a Jew move. I'm not being fucking religionist or anything like that. If that's even a thing. I'm
More
not
racist,
hating on a religion at all. I'm just saying, like, the Jews wanted a one world, one government, one ruler, one fucking coin or fucking payment type. And they're wanting to do that with the US. Like, where there's kings and queens and bullshit. But that also caused a revolt. Like the fucking Boston Tea Party.
Yeah.
We caused a revolt throwing the fucking England's tea overboard and telling them, no, goodbye.
Let's put it this way: if the founding fathers could just be alive one day and not freak the fuck out, by the way, for being reawakened, be dead. But if they saw the America currently, they would literally despise America and probably say, "This is what not the this is not the country we tried that we fought for. This is not what we fought for. This is all some bullshit. There's so much things. People trying to remove these amendments. Yeah, no, this is not right."
Our amendments are God-given rights. That's what it literally says in the fucking Bill of Rights. And
FYI, everyone, if you don't remember, America's the only one that has these amendments. Everyone else doesn't.
Exactly. We are a first world country, not a second or third. And we have all these rights to express the human emotion, which is very reasonable, and I enjoy it very much. But the main thing I love about it is the Second and First Amendment.
Second Amendment, it's the right to bear arms. The first one's free speech, religion,
and freedom of press.
That's the one.
You should know that.
I know. I always get the third one confused. It's between freedom of speech, religion, and
It also implies freedom of expression. But leaving off that topic, so we aren't talking about our amendments and shit, we'll do that in another video or podcast or whatever we're posting these on.
Probably both Spotify and YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So people know who this is. You probably won't, since no one really watches either channels. Here's Richly. What's your channel name?
I'm not gonna fucking say anything about it. I'm just gonna let them find out themselves. If they want, they can
If you
go
want
find
to
your
dig
channel.
in, or if you email us, whatever you figure out you want, or YouTube, you can. But anyways, as I said, I think this may be the end of the podcast. I don't think we have much else to talk about, and it's going on 2 o'clock and 1:20, and we don't want to be up anymore. I don't, at least. So yeah, I think this may be the end. There's not much else we can really talk about.
Leading off on it, none of
The world's
this.
fucked.
Yeah, the world's kind of fucked. The world's also dying.
Oh
slowly.
yeah, let's just put it this way: World War III has pretty much been confirmed. It's going to happen. The USA is already mobilizing. Most people don't realize that. Due to Russian aggression, they've already threatened the USA, which has pushed them over the limits. Pretty much World War III is going to be happening eventually.
Me and him are gonna share this podcast channel, so we can post different things on different people and different shit on our own opinions.
Remember the 3 rules you need to remember about this channel. One, we do not give a fuck about your opinion. We like it, but
We'll read it. We'll listen to it.
But we won't fucking change our stuff because of you. Second, we don't insult anyone on this channel for talking about people or things. We don't accept anything. We're neutral on anything we say. It's just what we think, what we
This is our
believe.
opinion.
And third, this channel. Sorry for interrupting you.
No,
This
you're
is
fine.
shared between us. We're probably gonna go back and forth on religious shit like that. Maybe people who have done things. Maybe we'll do one on Nick of Colorado and shit like that. But that's probably it.
There's different stuff we'll do stuff on.
We maybe do a podcast about Mr. Beast and this shit, talking about what's exactly happening and shit, with how his crew is, what people think about him doing all this shit in Africa.
But
besides that,
yeah. Our opinions are
also, by the way,
and
if anytime during any of our podcasts we change accents, it's random when we do it, because I can sometimes turn Scottish and sometimes turn German. Sometimes happens, sometimes on purpose, sometimes is.
Well, we both do different accents to be funny. Here and there we'll make
Scottish
comments and whatnot. Whatever comments we make, we don't care if you're offended. Facts don't care about your feelings, and remember that.
If you actually are helpful and tell us how we can improve the accents, we may eventually feature you. This is a channel we want to try to get fans in on and feature them in some episodes. But by the way, we're keeping our identity secret until, I guess, we're both, older and shit.
Yeah, at some point, if we get enough likes or subs or whatever, we will do a face reveal and do a full recording on our thoughts and opinions.
Also, guys, remember, we're doing this on the phone. We don't have the technology. We don't have the money for an actual recording system for podcasts like the one popular podcast where they're on the table smoking and shit doing these recordings. We don't have nearly enough cameras. We're not even the good recording place. We're in a fucking basement. We do not have nearly enough.
We're kind of at the bottom of the barrel right now.
Yeah, we have no monies. He's gonna get a job, so this podcast channel may die or not. So I may be the only one doing shit.
It won't die. I'll make sure I leave out time to do stuff. It won't be constant posting, depending on my podcastee or me. But the thing is, we have 3 rules. Well, 4 actually. 1, our opinions are our opinions, not our actual beliefs and whatnot. We don't hate people, and we don't we aren't racist and shit. We're being honest. Number 2, we'll say stuff, and if it offends you, we don't care.
It's our opinion again.
It's our opinion again, and we have the right. And number 3, we will disagree on different things, different people, different things that are going on in the world. If it offends you, we still do not care. And 4, facts don't care about your feelings. Suck it up, Buttercup, and deal with it. But that's going to be the end.
Care.
That will be the end of our podcast.
Yep.
Have a good night, everybody.
Peace out. Before we end it, these podcasts probably will range from around 10 to maybe 1 a.m. Like it's a random time we do this podcast.
But it'll be a different time that you're watching it or listening to it. So
there's also other issues where I may, because right now at the moment my channel is inactive. I haven't bothered to make a video. So
either it'll be him or me talking about stuff like this, and I'm making you a different YouTube channel for this. We're gonna
I can
share.
do it eventually, but I'm putting this on my main channel for now. But also these podcasts will depend on what. Another thing is if I have recorded a video and shit. If I record a video already on my main and we haven't gotten another channel up for me, I probably won't post it yet for a while. These podcasts, if you're hearing them once on if you hear them on Spotify before YouTube from my channel, eventually I will tell you it if you want it. That's because I'm taking time and actually doing some things like my school and my actual real channel that I'm still trying to grow. It's only at like 20 subscribers right now. I'm about trying, but yeah.
But this will be the end of it. Have a good night, our
Peace
lovely
out.
conspiracy theorists, and have a good night.
Have a good night.